Welcome back to 2C TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the divided kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, the uncivilized society that is the political left. Earlier tonight, young Bob of Turning Point UK was attacked and assaulted at a university in London, on a university campus at LSE, the London School of Economics. So we're going to give you guys the latest update on this. We have a video from the moment that the left-wing mob started to disrupt his Turning Point event. And despite the fact that he was there to simply have a nice debate with people. And of course, we're going to get your reaction live. Big announcement as of tonight, actually over the last 15 minutes, I got the confirmation we're allowed to do this now. And I'm not going to get into trouble. You can now officially join 2CTV Plus, which, as you guys know, you can scan the QR code or go on 2C.tv. You can actually join now only £1. Yes, you get a 1 week trial. If you just go on the website, 2C.tv, you can see the thing, the banner, this banner will pop up. If you join, you could get £1, 1 week trial. And of course, then if you enjoy the content, you can continue your subscription. So go check it out. Anyway, let's go and talk about a young Bob of Turning Point UK, who has once again been assaulted. He actually posted a statement saying physically assaulted at the Turning Point stand at the LSE campus, the London School of Economics. We were simply trying to debate, yet several masked men kept approaching throughout, doing everything they could to shut down a fair discussion. This is the state of tolerance on our universities. Let's go to that moment.
They shouldn't be allowed.
You're on camera.
That's my property, my friend. I think we should stay here just to see what happens.
It's very brave. Of course, Palestinian flag, Lebanese flag.
Well, I honestly think that if they're just going to do this, I think it's fine.
They never just stop there.
Well, listen, I'm not going to fall into intimidation. If it is literally just a couple of bullied students, I'm not going to do anything physically. However, I can handle it. You're legitimizing this understanding that they can just do this. I think you're stepping on my property, so I would ask that you don't do that. But look, the low IQ chimps, the ones that are unfortunately, you know...
Please do not
what is that?
Well, don't protest the speaking event. So, for the intimidating woman with a ballion, do you want to speak on why... Yes.
The
one you're talking
off of campus.
Be a traditional man and stop being afraid of women.
They are doing fascist behavior, fighting fascism.
Section 14 of the Public Order Act. So, not dispersing during a protest, and it was given a no further action.
Doxer and you harass women.
How am I a doxer? What women have I harassed? Find me the woman. What woman have I harassed?
I knew
Pardon?
you were an incel.
That is my real name. That is just a stage name I used to go by. But my real name is very publicly open to the public. I've said it on many occasions. My name is Gregory Thomas Mackay Moffat. But I go by Young Bob.
This is what we're trying to do. Yeah.
So look, and get NFA'd again. So look, I'm not trying to be petty here. It seems like you are. I'm just trying to engage in a genuine discussion.
We do not engage with Nazis. We do not engage with fascists. Fascists are on campus.
Why?
Fascists are on campus. We do not engage with fascists. Keep the distance.
Yeah, I'll try to. However, I think it's fair to try and have a discussion with these people. Well, because I have respect for my elders, unlike you people.
There's a slight confusion from their side. They're saying, well, they're calling him a Nazi while flying the Palestinian flag, which was the allies to Adolf in the 1930s. That aside, they are saying that they are fighting against fascists. Now, let me explain. Fascism was a very specific ideology that belonged to Italy, And when Gentile, of course, who was a Marxist, came up with fascism and Mussolini implemented it, they started with a couple of things. One was masked up men. You mask up so you could hide your identity. 2, you shut down debate. 3, you persecute conservatives and Christians. Of course, every single thing that those guys did, these guys are now doing. And that aside, there was also James, Turning Point UK's James, who was with Young Bob. He also posted saying, after some initial respectful conversations, we were quickly swarmed by masked up far-left protesters singing deplorable chants that incited and glorified violence against conservatives. This behavior is shameful. University campuses should be forums of free speech and respectful discourse. Unfortunately, today's events are indicative of a wider culture across Britain, British and American campuses where discourse is discouraged and violence glorified. We will continue to uphold the legacy of our founder, Charlie Kirk. We will not surrender to the far left. Let's go to James.
Unfortunately, what we're seeing here is the culture that's all too common on Western campuses, where left-wing students decide that anyone who expresses a viewpoint that's different to theirs is somehow a threat to them. They cannot debate. There's a small minority that are willing to have civil conversations, but the vast majority of left-wing students on this campus believe that anyone who has a different opinion may not be allowed to express that opinion. They don't want to have civil discourse. They don't support the free marketplace of ideas. They don't support free speech. And we've just seen it there. It's because we're Hamas. So they've admitted that they're terrorist sympathisers. They're trying to stop us from speaking and putting our viewpoints across, and yet they have the cheek to call us fascists.
Well, we're not crying.
This is the campus left in 2025. This is what left-wing students, how they operate in 2025. And if we don't do something about this, this is the future of the British left.
The other problem is you have a bunch of adults, because these are university students over 18 and 19, 20, attacking a 17-year-old child. I don't think they care, but there was a reaction. There's another thing that obviously Young Bob posted saying outside the LSE at the Turning Point event, which was the Prove Me Wrong stand with James, a flash mob of far left students thought it was clever to mock the death of Charlie Kirk. Yes, that's where we are now. So yeah, of course, it's not really a surprise that they would mock the death of Charlie Kirk. Turning Point James also posted this. We had roughly an hour of civil conversations with polite and respectful students before the far left showed up. They simply could not tolerate people with different views having respectful conversations and had to shut it down. Shameful behavior from the LSE far left and indicative of a very toxic culture that is present across campuses throughout the West, stifling dialogue and shutting down conversations. Now, this is why the problem is the far left, of course. The reason they come for both conservatives and liberals is because, conservatives and liberals value free speech, but the left, socialists, these guys, they never wanted any of this. They don't like to have a debate. That's why they, over the last few decades, a lot of the socialists started to hijack certain things, including liberalism. They call themselves liberals, even though they're not liberals. They're nothing to do with liberalism. They are a bunch of socialist, Marxist weirdos. But that fight continues. The fight for truth against this authoritarian, dictatorial mob. But Young Bob also found this exclusive screenshot from a conversation, a group chat from the LSE students before that. He said, communist group chats at the university plotting against our Turning Point UK, prove me wrong stand, grooming students into running from debate, coordinating intimidation, and doing everything they can to silence anyone who challenges their ideology. You couldn't make it up. So this is what we have from the group chat now, the LSE, SJP, General, whatever. Urgent. Fascist Turning Point UK agitators are currently on our campus. Ooh, it's the end of the world. Do not engage with them. Their goal is to film themselves in front of a crowd debating with students. And the most effective response is to ignore and avoid them. Please keep away from their table and cameras and encourage your friends and classmates to do the same. But of course, people came anyway. And then Phoebe says, I walked past and saw a massive crowd. I swear to God, how many times do we have to remind people to ignore them? Yes, I wonder why. Because people can't be controlled unless you put a gun to their heads, you Marxist weirdos. I was wondering what the yelling is outside. I'm 11th floor CBG right now, and it is loud. And then Chow says, that Turning Point really sounds like a Charlie Kirk stuff. Yes, because Charlie Kirk founded it, you weirdo. So this is the thing. They are self-entitled, right? So they say, hey, we posted this in a group chat with an echo chamber of fellow left-wing students. So they genuinely think, you post something on that, it's going to change the world. Everybody's going to follow order, right? Everybody's going to obey. Thousands and thousands and thousands of students who are not part of this group chat. Obviously, if you post something there, everybody's going to listen to you, right? And then they're surprised saying, oh, I cannot believe people are still going there. You told them not to go there. There's a problem with the Marxists, because when they don't get what they want, they get surprised, then they get violent, and then they start to dictate on what you should do in your life, because they are spoiled, privileged idiots with mummy and daddy issues. All right, so while we're here, as I said, I can finally offer this to you guys. As I said, you can officially join 2C TV Plus, as you guys know. Go to 2c.tv, but you can now join with only £1. Yes, 1 week trial as of tonight. Full access to our documentaries, our chat forum, our original series, interviews, and podcasts, and everything else. We have the new episode of the 2C Talks podcast next week, by the way, in a few days' time. So yes, join, £1, 2c.tv. When you go on the website, this banner thing will pop up as usual. All right, let's go. See what's going on with you guys. Ivan says, our educated youth for F's sake. What a state. Yeah, it's also the fact that a bunch of adults are going around attacking a child. So, although they don't really care. In fact, there's a comment I just saw. I'm going to bring it up if I could find it. About that, about the age thing. Toddy says, leftists are real national socialists and fascists. Prove me wrong. Their methods are similar. Yeah. They don't believe in what the Nazis or fascists believed in. Because the leftists, the modern leftists, they are internationalists. Except for Palestinians, they are very nationalist when it comes to Palestinians. But for the rest of the world, they are internationalists. But National Socialists and fascists in Italy, which, by the way, there's two different things, and people keep confusing the two. They were nationalists. Apart from that, the tactics are similar in terms of the masking up and uniforms, usually black uniforms, shutting down debates, burning books, and all the usual nonsense that they do. There are similarities, mostly because National Socialism obviously came from the left. Fascism, created by Gentile, came from a Marxist, literally. So none of these ideologies came from a conservative. The first group that they always targeted were conservatives, then liberals, and of course then religious groups and everything else. Someone says that they are not liberals. Exactly. I am liberal. I'm a liberal. I'm an independent, but now I am a right-wing conservative, according to everybody. Yeah. Yeah, if you're actually a classical liberal, or what we used to call an Old English liberal, which were the people who also moved to America a couple of 100 years ago, that's actual liberals. But obviously, the modern leftists, some of them call themselves liberal, but they have nothing to do with liberalism. They don't see Bob as a 17-year-old kid. See, there we go, that's the one. They see him as a threat. And that doesn't sit well with other people. That's the thing. So age doesn't matter to them, but also status or your being and your identity. So when people look at Charlie Kirk, they saw the massively influential figure Charlie Kirk that we had recently, right? But the threats against him started 10 years ago. And what he created when he was it 21? He was 20, 21. And before that, he was also active, politically speaking. The threats against him and his life started way back then. And so it wasn't really just about the age. So the reason I mentioned Charlie Kirk, because when it comes to Young Bob, the discussions are usually about the age, right? Why are they scared of him? Because it's not about the age, it's the threat. They know what he could be in the future. Charlie Kirk, it's not necessarily the age thing. With Charlie Kirk, he was an innocent civilian who cared about something, right? He cared about something, he decided to do something about it in a harmless way, without being violent, and by following the rule of law, right? Simple. Just doing something. Just like how Bernie Sanders decided to do things because he's left wing. But they also went for him early on, before Charlie was even that influential, before Charlie was even this massively important figure, because they could see the threat. This is why what they end up doing, the tactic is, the kind of medium-term tactic is always to demonize, dehumanize. Don't say the person's name. Don't debate. Don't respect them, because that means they are human. So instead, you cancel them. You call them names. You label them fascists or whatever. Enemy. Once they are the enemy, once they are no longer a human, then they are an easy target. At that point, when Charlie Kirk gets assassinated, these guys would celebrate. Now, you would see it, and I would see it, as an evil act. What is wrong with you? But psychologically, in their brain, they don't see Charlie Kirk as a human being, Charlie Kirk, because by that point, they've already brainwashed themselves that he's just an entity of evil. So, of course, you have to celebrate. At that point, they blind themselves. They don't even care. They don't want to think that Charlie might have a mother, might have a father, might have a child or a wife. Doesn't matter at that point. So just like how, for example, for normal human beings who are against violence, who are against terrorism, when somebody like Bin Laden gets taken out, allegedly, gets taken out, we celebrate, saying, done, he's gone, let's move on. Bad man, gone. Because at that point, he is evil. He's been killing people. So what they do, they turn people like Young Bob, Charlie, everybody else, into a Bin Laden figure. But the thing about the Bin Laden figure is that you didn't know him, I didn't know him, we didn't know his family, not on a personal level. So all you see is an entity. Bin Laden, evil, done, because he was evil. So what they also use the same tactic. So you don't have to find out. Don't worry about someone like Young Bob might have a family, might have friends, might have a life. Just don't talk to him. Don't talk about good things. Don't talk about the fact that he's breathing like a normal human being. He eats, he drinks. This is war. And this war has been going on for a long time. It's accelerating. And one side of the debate has been in denial. It's time to wake up. Susan says, go TC, thank you for exposing the truth. Susan from East Tennessee, USA. Thank you so much, Susan. Osama says, I moved to Cuba. Is that Bin Laden? Hello, Mr. Bin Laden. Moved to Cuba. Of all places as well. Ah, dear. So we are waiting for the rest of the footage, by the way, from today, which also showed the actual assault on Young Bob. We're just waiting for the team to get that footage out, and then we'll wait for the reaction from the Metropolitan Police as well, which again, we're not going to expect them to do anything about it, but we'll find out. Obviously, they'll have the evidence. Dean says exactly, one side thinks it is in war, and it has been war for the other side the entire time. Even on a political level, because it starts soft, but it's about demonizing the other side. In the UK, for example, even decades ago, years ago, before what you see with Keir Starmer, before Jeremy Corbyn, before anything that you've seen over the last few years, way before, we had a saying in Britain, and those who were in politics knew. They were quite aware of this. Conservatives, especially Tory party members, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, they'll wake up, if they're active, the Conservative side, they wake up, they say, okay, I care about politics, I'm active, I'm a nerd, I care about the country, so I'm going to do these things because the other side is wrong. The Labour Party, they lie to people, they have bad policies, we have to stop them. From the other side's perspective, and as someone, when I was at university, I was dealing with obviously the far left, but also the Labour Party, the centre-left side. Even the centre-left side, they wake up in Britain, the Labour Party members and activists, they wake up. The first thing is, we hate the Conservatives. They are evil. We have to save our people and the country from them because they are evil and greedy and don't care about people. The difference is, one side says the other side is wrong. The other side would say that side is evil. But the problem is the polarization means that right now the political spectrum is completely messed up. So you also have people from the right that calls anybody that's on the left evil. And people from the left calls everybody from the right evil. We didn't have that before. Some people from the left are evil, but not everybody. There are some people on the center left who are just naive. I could just have a nice debate with them. I still believe they're wrong. They're not evil, but everybody's angry and everybody's calling everybody evil. Because it's easier than having an intellectual debate. It's easier than doing having some sort of intellectual capacity to do a counter argument. So you just say, that person is evil. That person is a communist. That person is a fascist. That person is a Nazi. It used to be the left calling the right. Now it's left calling the right, right calling the left. Everybody's calling everybody a fascist. Absolutely fascinating. Dearborn, Michigan Muslims are already trying to say Islam is peace. Again. Try another tactic. We know the game plan. FBI have been conducting raids and arrests the past couple of days. There's also massive issues in Texas. Okay, so I've been warning about spamming in the live chats. Just going to repeat it one more time, but this time I'm going to ban people. We don't have moderators on this channel. You can say whatever you want. Free speech. Good, bad, whatever you want to say. If you copy and paste your comment multiple times, you're a weirdo and you need mental health procedures. So I'm going to ban these people and I'm going to name and shame. One of them is, what is it? Leanne Garden 6997 keeps saying Islamofascist, which I agree. But if you copy and paste, that means you have issues. So you're banned. And if anybody else is also doing crazy things, then you will be banned. Because what's the point? Be a normal human being. And there's another one that keeps saying Mamdani fire. So that you can go as well. Goodbye. So this is what I cannot wait to become a dictator. I will be a great dictator. But I will only accept that role if I could be a dictator for the whole world. Not one country. That's boring. All right, Barbara says you should see the flags in the centre of Edinburgh, the raised flags of Scotland, united with the Palestinian flag. How do I send you a video of it? I know who they are. These are the same people. They come to London. So there's a group that, and we put it on TCTV before, we showed you, the coalition of the Scottish flag and the Palestinian flag. It's brilliant. They're so delusional, absolutely delusional. They don't understand that the so-called Palestinians don't give an F about Scotland or the Scottish cause. But, they think, well, we were persecuted by the English and the Palestinians got persecuted by the Israelis, so we're on the same side. Really. It's like the gays for Gaza. How's the no smoking going? Very good, thank you. And would you be a beloved dictator? That's not a thing. Would you be a beloved dictator or beloved dictator? I don't know why there's an it in the middle of this. I will be the best dictator because because I wouldn't care what people think. The problem with dictators, stereotype, is that they actually, most of the time, they cared about what people think. That was their vulnerability. The insecurity from old school dictators was that they were actually insecure. That's why they do a crackdown. They don't like you to say bad things about them. But I wouldn't care. So you can say whatever you want about me as a dictator. You know, YOLO. That's the beauty of... Basically, my dictatorship will be, I will enforce freedom on you. Build a wall, shut down immigration, and inside the country, for citizens of the country, freedom. You will be forced to be free. But not everything is free, but we can give you a trial instead. So yes, 2CTV Plus, you can now join on a £1 1 week free trial if you go on 2c.tv. Take advantage of the offer. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.